Hi Greedy 3Ders, today we're going to be testing some resin. JamgHe have really kindly sent me some of their high-speed standard resin. So today I'm going to be playing with this. I'm going to be doing some prints on my Uniformation GK2 and I'll see what I can push these to, just see how fast I can get the exposure times to work on it. I've never used high-speed resin before, so let's give it a blast. Stay tuned. Now the packaging is fairly standard across all the resins, but JamgHe give you a special little surprise in every packet. You get this little bag, and in this little bag is a freebie, and it's one of three things. It's either some gloves, some filters, or if you're really lucky, like I am today, you get a 4 GB USB drive, and that's what I've won today by buying JamgHe. Now if you're really lucky, you get all three, but I've never had that. But these drives come in so handy when you're cutting files for your printer. Now here's the actual resin itself. It's in a sealed bag, and just as you would expect it to be, so I'm just going to rip that bag using my immense muscles and pop it out, and there is the marvellous high-speed JamgHe standard resin. There's some instructions on the back there that talks about exposure times. Now I think with standard resin or the high-speed stuff is you should be able to drop your exposure times. That's saying 1.7 down to sort of 1.2. So I'm going to give that a bit of a play. Now one thing you'll notice about this stuff is it's a lot runnier than standard resin at temperatures. Now my man cave is fairly cool, and this is still coming out just like milk. Doesn't smell any stronger than any other resin. I think all resin smell roughly about the same, but comes out like milk. Let's give it a frozen XP test. I've dropped this down, this print time down to 1.5 seconds, and about 15-20 minutes later off it pops. Now it was a bit welded to the build plate, which I don't really mind. At least I know that the base layers have gone on, but when I checked it out, I'm quite happy with that. I've got no problems with 1.5. I think it looks all right, but I'm going to drop it even lower. I'm going to do one down to 1.2 to see what difference that makes. Now, I would be quite happy with a 1.5 exposure looking at that. I think it's well developed, and I'm really chuffed with that. So I dropped it down a little bit further to a 1.2 second now. I dropped the bed time, the first 5 layers down to 20 seconds. And although I think it is quite clear, and I do think it's quite clear, it feels very thin, it feels very flimsy, and to me it just doesn't look as neat and tidy as the 1.5 seconds. So there we go. I think the winning answer is somewhere in the middle, so I am going to clumb for around about 1.4 seconds. I think there's not much in it, and I think either way there you could probably get away with it, but I thought the 1.2 seconds was just too thin. So I'm going to do the Harley Quinn Berserk Zombie model. I'm going to do that at a 1.4 setting, but I'm going to up the base layer to 30 seconds again. So my trusty GK2 has come through yet again for me, and here is the JamgHe's fast resin printing Harley Quinn on that printer, and wow, it's come out beautiful. I love the detail of this print, and I love the detail that the resin has given it. Just look at the quality of that. Beautiful. Getting it off the build plate was a little bit tricky, but I think that's me overcooking it on the bottom exposure. So definitely when moving forward, I'd probably drop the bottom exposure time from 30 seconds down a little bit. Now, getting the supports off was okay, was no problem at all. Just heated them up with a hairdryer like I normally do, and they came off really well. I didn't get any breaks of the resin. It didn't feel brittle. The supports didn't break anything else off with them, so everything went as according to plan, and I am happy. And here she is. Here is Miss Quinn. Here's the Berserk model. Detail on this is incredible. It has printed beautifully, as you can see there. I'm a firm believer in just believing what I see, and there you go. There is the evidence in black and white or grey on a blue background for you. There's Harley Quinn printed beautifully. Even her eyelashes, even the finer detail on her eyelashes have come out, and you don't get that very often with printers, do you, and prints, and that looks beautiful. So I am well happy. Okay, Greedy 3Ders, so we've tested JamgHe High Speed Resin. What do we think? Well, let's look at a couple of factors that I always look at when I do any kind of review. The first one has to be quality. What's the quality of this resin like Is it comparable with other resins? Well, if we looked at the Harley Quinn bust that I printed, the quality of that was really good. I could not fault the quality in that. I have seen no better quality with any other resin. To be fair, I think it is done exactly what it says on the tin from a quality perspective. So the next thing we need to look at once we're happy with what we're getting is the cost of it. Now, currently, looking on Amazon, the cost of this for 1 kilogram is around about £27-ish. Now that's quite expensive for 1 kilogram of resin. There are cheaper resins out there. Now, I say that when I'm doing this review in November 23, the price of resin does seem to have shot up, and the prices do seem to be elevating up into the sort of low to mid 20s. But £27-28 is kind of high price for resin. However, this is high speed resin. This isn't just standard bog, standard resin. This is high speed. So if high speed resin is your bag, then this is comparable with other makes, your Anycubics and your Sunlu high speed resin. So from a cost perspective for what you're getting, it's not bad at all. What's its availability? Well, you can get it on UK Amazon, which is nice to see. You can also get it directly from JamgHe. And what I can do for you guys is pop a promo code in the description. So if you want to buy it directly from JamgHe, you'll get 5% off. Now 5% of 28 quid ain't nothing to be sneered at. So it all helps, doesn't it? It all helps. But it is available also on Amazon UK. And I'll put some links in the description as well where you can get it from. So my thoughts on JamgHe. Now I know that I'm a little biased towards JamgHe because I think their quality and their products are excellent. I have not had a bad product that I've reviewed from JamgHe. So I think from my perspective, do I recommend JamgHe High Speed Resin? If you want high speed resin, you want quality, you want something that's trustworthy and reliable and does the job and is fairly cost effective to what you need, then JamgHe resin is absolutely fine. I can find no fault with it at all. Would I recommend it to you? Yeah, I would recommend JamgHe. I recommend all JamgHe's products, to be absolutely honest. And that's not because I have a monopoly or they're paying me vast amounts for it. I'm a 3D printer. You know, I think there's two kinds of 3D printers out there. There's the kind that like to fiddle and mess and play around with things. And there's the kind that just want to throw resin into a vat, press a button and it'll print it. I'm the latter. I am one of those. I prefer to just do that. And JamgHe for me has allowed me to make really good models. Bang for buck. You can buy cheap, but sometimes you have to buy twice, and that's an old adage that I live by. Hope you've enjoyed today. Hope you enjoy these review videos. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to leave a comment on what your thoughts are about JamgHe, what do you like them, don't you? What other would you want to recommend? I will work with you guys and listen to what you guys have to say. If you want to join the Patreon, you would be more than welcome to join the Patreon. All the details are in the description below. But above all, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you found it useful. And let me know what you think of the content, what you want to see more of. And I'll see you next time real soon on Greedy 3D.